Hello, everybody. Hello, folks. Welcome into episode 7 of Cyberpunk. We're inching closer and closer to those double digits. As always, I am Jonathan, your game master, pronouns he, any. Have a few new things for today's stream. One, hopefully have a chat feed in here on the video here, just for VOD purposes, having that nearby rather than referencing the invisible ghost chat. It is less encouraging that there is one chat message so far and it is not showing up on the screen, which, well, we'll see about that. It's going well right away. Well, maybe it will change its mind later. Oh, that makes me very sad.
Don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. I might just have to end up pivoting to stop being stubborn and pivot over to Streamlabs instead of OBS Studio, because yeah, it seems to have these things figured out better than I do at any rate. Speaking of, we'll call it a technical difficulty, you may notice that three members of our team are here today. Unfortunately, Lee had a work thing come up at the last minute and was not able to join the stream today, which is very sad, but we will power through. We miss you, Lee. We'll catch you next time. For my part, I will say that Bo will still be present. Going to try and do my best to not speak for Bo as much as possible, or as little as possible, depending on how you look at it. But in the meantime, yes, going to go ahead and skip past calling on our no signal member here and rotate right around over to Matthew. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I almost forgot while addressing some of the technical bits. Fun facts or boring facts or just facts of some kind. Mini fact is I'm also going to try concurrently recording this stream at the same time as streaming. Should have a beefy enough computer to handle that. If the stream catches on fire, that's probably why. But more fun than that is the fact that we did have a brief hiatus, coming back after a month rather than 2 weeks ago, because I was out of town on the Joko cruise. Lots of nerd fun to be had. It's hard to pick just like one fact because it was a very lovely experience, but no, just going on the cruise. If I start talking about the cruise, it's going to take me a long time to shut up. So it was wonderful and beautiful and very nerdy and positive, as it tends to be. Huzzah! Now let's pivot over to Matthew. Sorry to cut you off before you even started speaking.
Howdy. I am Matthew. I am playing, pronouns he, him. I am playing sehr stylish, the heavily augmented tech now net runner, who is the sensitive artist who is striving to remove all sensitivity and empathy from his own mind. So I'm sure that will work out well for everybody involved. And fun fact, in April, I'm going to go to New York City for the second time ever in my entire life, and my first time as an actual adult. And I'm very excited because I get to I'm going to take my partner to see a real opera instead of the garbage Mozart that he has experienced already. So I'm excited for that. I get to go to the Met.
Ooh, that is very
lovely.
fun. Yeah, fantastic. Pulling on your namesake there. Obviously, your very first contact with any sort of opera whatsoever, right? Yep.
No, where is Italy?
It's over there, somewhere.
It looks like a shoe.
Yeah. Again, it's somewhat of an inside joke, but yes, Matthew used to study opera, which I'm just making fun of him for. Or yeah, something like that. I say making fun of. I mean, I have a musical theater degree, so I'm throwing all my stones inside this glass house. Angela, let's pivot over to you.
Hey, I'm Angela, she, her, playing Patch, also she, her, and she is a medtech with a shotgun. Because, yeah, she is. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, not really any fun facts. I am just running on maybe 10 hours of sleep total since last Friday, so we're doing great.
Oh dear. Well, yeah. Well, if this stream happens to end early, yeah, get some sleep. Yikes. Very good. Let's. The medtech with a shotgun that she very much knows how to use extremely well, as we saw amongst other situations. Certainly last episode, if nothing else. Swimming and finally swinging around to Ashley.
I'm Ashley, she, her. I play Pixie, our nomad, who also uses she, her pronouns. And yeah, she's been through some stuff, especially the past couple episodes. So we'll see where that takes her. My fun fact is just happy first day of spring.
Yay!
Yeah.
Happy first day of spring. Hopefully those temperatures start crawling back up. I, for one, at least am ready for warmer temperatures up here in the Northeast. Looks like it's starting to trend that way. We'll see. In any case,
it is supposed to be extremely cold here for the next couple of weeks, Jonathan. So
oh no.
Way to ruin it, Matthew.
I'm sorry, you're gonna
And
have
now
to
I'm
save
sad.
the fishnets for indoors for at least another couple of weeks.
We all just
Yeah.
saw Jonathan like visibly get sad. So
Yeah. I suppose I shouldn't complain. I did just get a week of swimsuit weather, so that's fine. Well, I mean, this week it looks on the warmer side ish. I mean, Thursday it's going to be 71. That sounds pretty warm to me. In any case, let's get into a little bit of a recap, much needed for, I think, everybody involved, audience, all of us. It has been a full month since we played, so let's dive right in. And this time, we're going to add a little bit of recap music.
Ooh,
So fancy.
So, last time on Cyberpunk, we emerged from the virtual Cove of many hundreds of years ago, our brief foray into Dungeon World, and upon re-entering, becoming aware once again of present day, you successfully reconnected friend computer with the servers and managed to upgrade their clearance up to green level. Still not up to the max level, but it is certainly better than red. You know, baby steps here and there as you can. The other thing that was able to accomplish is, and they seemed chuffed, as it were, that you were able to positively resolve the conflict inside Dungeon World, and along those lines, opened up the storage room for you, in which you got plenty of goodies. Some of them were a little bit more abstracted, but as far as like the solid things go, Bo was able to get some nice medical supplies to keep you all alive, as well as some glow sticks that were primarily used for some grieving, raving. Pour one out for Seven and Snow, those proto-forged in the simulation. Even managed to give an extra glow stick, tape it to her, or to Bo's agent, to his agent, so that friend computer could also participate in the more grieving, raving. Patch got a upgraded magazine for her shotgun. the
Yeah,
drum
she did.
magazine. Pixie got a grapple gun, and Opera got some valuables that will are sort of narratively chunked into the cash necessary to get a therapy session in order to reduce some of the humanity lost from all the cyberware and Borgware, possibly teetering on the edge of cyberpsychosis. It's fine. It's fine. At least it will be after therapy, probably. And did choose to pay the extra in order to avoid any sort of chancing or rolls with said therapy, so it will definitely work. And yeah, that was... Oh, and of course, for your... one of the main reasons you being there, getting some tech in order to give to the gardener to, keep your jobs. You managed to get a cloned version of the VR tech that you experienced while sort of traveling back in time, in a sense. Hopefully, that sort of upgraded technology for VR will be useful in the gardener's eyes for entertainment purposes or elsewise. At least good enough to keep you on the payroll. Once you got back up to the surface, you followed up on your other lead that you chose to pursue second, checking in on the Gainsaid camp that you got a tip-off about. Unfortunately, you got to the camp, you found it, but it had been abandoned very, very recently. You found some tracks that led off, were some vehicle tracks that led out of the camp, but you also found a note, a document that was written in code. You're able to decipher just enough to determine that they were apparently planning some sort of attack. The when, where, the when, where, who, what, all that biz. You weren't quite able to crack that code, but some sort of attack incoming. And as you got prepared to leave, Pixie received a communication via her agent from Mavrek. He was currently under attack by the Gainsaid back at the garage at Echo Center, and shortly after informing Pixie of that fact, the line went dead. So racing back to Echo Center in Bug, their vehicle, their dune buggy, you passed a group of vehicles that you clocked as Gainsaid members. Rather than continuing on to Echo Center, you chose to full-on U-turn, bootleg turn, and follow them, after which was a high-intensity vehicle combat. You were able to pick off every single one of the Gainsaid, leaving, as it turned out, Jather, one of the higher lieutenants of the Gainsaid, as far as you know, inside the main car, leaving him for last. And concluding what was hypothetically supposed to be a boss sneak peek preview, whatever you want to call it, through a series of statistically unlikely rolls for our boss, managed to accomplish basically nothing positive for himself, and instead managed to fail at just about every turn, ending with him crashing his own car into a tree. Or, if I'm going to quote my past self, a... Ooh. Oh, ah. Oh, well, that button's broken. Crashed into a tree. Oh, it does work. I see.
He
Sorry,
ran
resetting.
right into the monologue.
Okay. Now that's good. I'll give you that one. And I would say, just as a brief side note, one could also hypothetically say that this was not exactly what I as a GM had planned, or maybe it ran a little bit counter to that, but ultimately, the core plan that I have here is playing a game with my friends here, and that is what we have succeeded in doing. So, yeah, we are still running according to plan, if not secondary ones. Before he, unfortunately, it so happened that in pursuit, he tried to get away after the car crashed, but ended up taking severe injuries and basically was bleeding out, about to die, unable to, even for our medtech, able to save him. But before passed, able to get in a little bit of interrogation, we learned a little bit more about what the Gainsaid were up to. Basically, they mentioned some sort of event less than 100 years ago where technology almost destroyed us all, quote unquote. That sort of information doesn't 100% track with what you all know, or like you're not really sure what he was talking about. But that seems to be the main goal of the Gainsaid, in order to take away technology to save everyone. To the few may die, such that everyone may survive. It seemed to be sort of the core tenet there. And finally, and as well as like a little bit of taunting, it would seem, that lobbed towards Pixie, that they may want to check in on their friend Mavrek he did not use that name, but friend Mavrek at the garage, if he is still breathing. And to sort of put a very solid pin in it, if you can call it that. Well, you can call it a few things that they put in there, but ended up finishing off Jather by cramming friend computer, or I should say partner computer, down his throat. And that is where we find ourselves now. Let's go toward the... Nope, it's not. That decided to disappear, so we're just going to keep our recap music for the time being in this scenario now. So, your situation. Apparently, Mavrek is in some sort of mortal danger, and you need to make your way back to Echo Center. However, Bug, your vehicle, is currently out of commission. So, what do you do? Do you try and hoof it back on foot? Or do you try and fix the vehicle and drive back the old-fashioned way? One last bit of information. You did manage to pick off all of the members of the Gainsaid, so no one got away. However, you did overhear, or at least Bo did overhear, Jather communicating with somebody, giving them all of your descriptions.
Question: how far are we away, driving as fast as Pixie can drive from Echo Center?
It would be, with all of the jungle and everything, it would be about 30 minutes.
Perfect, because for 40 minutes, I will bang and use my field expertise tech ability to jury-rig it back to functioning normally for 10 minutes per rank I have in the Maker level. So that's 40 minutes. Bug will function perfectly. However, after that, I cannot jury-rig it back together again until it has gotten a proper repair.
Interesting. Okay.
Wahahaha.
Well played. That is, when I gave the 30-minute description, that was not something that I was aware of. So yeah, that is an honest. Yep, there you go.
You almost said that was an honest mistake on my part.
Well, I suppose, yeah, better way to word it is, yeah, you came by it honestly. Very, very good. So yeah, with that jury rig, obviously, Pixie, you're gonna have to spend some time later to like really truly fix this thing, because yeah, this sort of hot fix is temporary at best.
Pixie, if you don't mind, necessity being the mother of invention, I think I can get Bug back to Echo Center, but she's going to require a bit of tender, loving care afterwards.
Yeah, just be gentle, will you? She's delicate.
Zare folds out all of the toolkits from his hands and gets a maniacal gleam in his eye, and then takes 6 seconds apparently to repair, to jury rig this thing back into driving condition.
6 seconds? Okay.
It takes a round.
Does it have? I know it's like with his quick repair here. I'm going to pull whichever one of my sticky notes that it pertains to. Does it have a limitation on like size or anything? That seems wild to like quick fix a car in 6 seconds.
I have to meet the repair DV for it, but I mean, I know I'm tempting fate here, but how hard is it to repair a car?
Okay.
I mean, and Pixie would be there helping as well, because...
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe there are rules in your app for what it takes to repair your car, since, I mean, you might even have bonuses to repairing your car as like a roll ability.
Yeah, I do. Let me see.
Yeah, it says, you can elect to instead temporarily repair your target to perfect condition as an action.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't make this.
Scoffs the DM.
How come I don't have that ability?
Right. Upgrade vehicles. Cars. Yeah, I remember reading that thing. This book. Look, it's a cool system, cool setting, and all that, but the layout of the book, I will just come out and say it, leaves a little bit to be desired. Why I have to go to multiple sections to look at features for a single roll, roll ROLE, seems a little bit odd. I will say.
So many sticky notes.
A lot of sticky notes.
So land vehicle tech says the DV and amount of time it takes you to repair a damaged or destroyed vehicle with this skill to perfect the condition is based on the amount of damage it has sustained.
Right.
And
so that's all I've got.
Like 1 hit point over the line.
I don't remember.
Okay, what I'm going to say is, see, drive land vehicle. All right, so yes, see the land vehicle skill for repairing.
Jonathan, also, if for narrative reasons, just to keep the dice rolling, you would like to say the damage is too extensive to be jury-rigged, I'm fine with that as well. I don't want us to have to find out 8 different subsystems just so I can spoil your fun.
Yeah, no, I got it. Here's what I'm going to say. You go ahead and roll your roll ability. I'm guessing that's what it usually calls for that quick fix. Okay, go ahead and roll your roll ability, and Pixie, go ahead and roll land vehicle tech as a skill as well, and we'll see about how long it's going to take. I will say in this case, yes, if like a gun was jammed or something like that, then I would say. Let me also go ahead. I
did that wrong. I think that should have
switched to that.
Exploded negatively.
Also, let me adjust.
Is that a 1?
It was a 1. I don't know why it didn't explode, but I guess I need to roll another d10. Well, maybe we are walking, because I got a 13.
Oh, it looks like it did not explode because you did a manual roll instead of a skill roll.
Well,
at least that's how it's showing on my screen.
I still haven't gotten all of the items to implement correctly, but I will just
okay.
Start putting
in any case, so a 2, so it turns out to be a 13 on your count and a 29 from Pixie. Phenomenal. So I will say that, yeah, it's going to take a little bit more than 6 seconds. It is, thankfully, with that roll, not only just the idea of your quick fix, your experience with quick fixing technology, and some expert help / direction from Pixie here. I'm going to say that it takes about like 10 minutes. five to 10 minutes. Like it'll take hours, I think, to like truly fix this vehicle at the very least. But in any case, here it like takes a handful of minutes. You're able to Pixie not only get hands on this vehicle yourself, but also with Opera's help, able to certainly get this thing running. You hook back up to it and you turn this key. It is at least no longer on fire. Maybe a little puffs of smoke keeping up from the engine every and now and then. When you plug back in with your neural implants, it really protests. As the engine turns over, you hear some grinding of gears and pistons, things that should not be grinding or making that sound. The check engine light is on at full brightness, but at the very least, it does run. It turns on. So quicker, with pretty quick, about as quickly as you're able, you get this thing in working condition, and you are able to start driving back to Echo Center. Last question I will say is, what, if anything, do you do with Jather's body? Opera, I know you already said that you snagged his goggles, which you have, but do you want to just leave him here, bring the body with you, anything at all?
Well, I would be absorbed in repairing the vehicle, and as soon as we would do that, I would be hopping in the passenger seat, being like, all right, let's go!
Sure.
We don't have time for a field funeral.
It makes it also a little bit more sense while you take just these few minutes to accomplish this. Patch, yeah, what would you be up to? Or if there is there anything specific you're up to in these few minutes, especially pertaining to Jather?
I mean, I would probably search his body just to see not necessarily like anything useful, but maybe some information. If there's anything else that he has.
Yeah, absolutely. You can make a. Let's crack this bad boy back up real quick. Hidden perception is what comes to mind, but I think there's also investigation. Apologies for folks watching. It has been a month since I've touched this system, and I've also maybe started delving into Pathfinder for completely separate reasons, so just trying to juggle all these game mechanics in my head. Yeah, let's go ahead and go with a perception check for you here, Patch, as you just sort of search the body.
Okay. And what the hell? I'll just add 2 points of luck just because.
Yeah, why not?
Didn't help much.
I almost feel like I'm missing a page. There it is. Okay. Okay, found what I was looking for. Got it. Yes. I would allow, a... Oh, you already rolled it. Yeah, it's a perception or conceal reveal object. Perception makes a little bit more sense to me, that he would have it maybe hidden on his person, but not I am hiding this now. So with a 12.
A 12. I don't say shit.
With a 12, what I will give you is that there seems to be a copy of the sort of encrypted message that you already found back at the camp. Just based at a glance, it looks to be the same message. And now you have, you already know now what the attack was intended for, which seems to have already taken place. But that is what you find with the 12. In the interest of just doing very minimal piloting, as far as Bo is concerned, going to very quickly just give them the benefit of a quick perception check to help you out here. Just making that decision. Perception. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That is
Nice.
a 22. The 22. Okay, I know what you find with a 22. You, or rather, with Bo's help, you both discover that sort of tucked away into like one of the pockets of their clothing, there is in fact some sort of strange piece of paper. It seems not exactly laminated, but a little bit sturdier than just like a flimsy piece of paper, kind of like more cardstock style, that sort of thing. And it has a lot of like weird symbols on it. It seems somewhat relevant to some of the code that you see on the other message, but it will take some time to sort of figure out what this might be. Your best guess is that this may be some kind of cipher for this code. So it will take some time in order to go down that rabbit hole, but this may be useful for, if you're able to crack it, may be useful for intercepting and translating future code that you come across. Okay.
When Jather called somebody and gave our description, was that on an agent?
That's right. No. You do not find an agent. I would say with that 22, you do notice that there is an earpiece in his ear.
Can I take it?
Yes. Yes, you can. Go ahead and write down that you have Jather's earpiece. Very nice.
And then Opera takes Jather's ear.
You know, I'm already here. Just let's see a little bit here. Just like a yikes. Okay. And yes, you finish up your search, finish up those quick vehicle patching repairs, and you gun it back towards Echo Center. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. When you make it back to Echo Center, the vehicle is. Actually, yeah. In this case, normally I would not require one, but because the vehicles is a little bit chanked up, Pixie, go ahead and roll a drive land vehicle check for me, please. I know, mostly perfunctory for a nomad, but you never know. As we saw last session, you never know. 29. Okay, perfect. Yes, you expertly adjust to the new quirks that Bug has in this moment, and you're able to get back to the center as best as you are able. So here's what I'm something that I will put forth. I have here, sort of borrowing from other game systems, a clock. I have a clock here written down for Mavrek as to, you know, what sort of state condition that he might be in. It is currently at a certain number. Depending on how the rest of this proceeds, that clock will tick down. If it reaches 0, Mavrek will be dead. I suppose narratively, yes, he is potentially alive at this moment, but again, it will depend on your actions. So far, the very quick fix that you are able to pull off, the clock has only gone down by a little bit, basically like the minimum amount. So you still have a good as chance as you are able. Getting back to Echo Center itself, you see that there is quite a bit of activity. You see the smoke first over the tree line, and as you sort of get into this clearing here and see the entrance into Echo Center, there now you see the fire associated with it. You see that there are bullet holes, like small craters, impact craters of explosions, grenades, that sort of thing, that litter the entrance here. The garage itself is basically coterminous with the entrance into the city itself. Like, there's not some long tunnel to like get to the garage or anything. So it's all sort of in this same area. And currently it is swarming with security force that are the usual enforcement here, and they are. It seems like they have like just finished taping off the area, and you see that the all of the vehicles in the garage are, none of them are functional. All of them are like on fire or exploded. Clearly, you can tell at a glance here, Pixie, that these vehicles seem to have been deliberately sabotaged. You also do not see any sign of Mavrek. So yeah, security force. It looks like some like medically inclined forces are like starting to roll in as well, but this is very much still like an active crime scene. What do you do?
When I talked to Mav the last time,
Mm-hmm.
did I have any sort of sense of whether he was directly in the garage or was he somewhere else?
Based on where you left him and what he said, yes, you believe that he was in the garage. He, like, most of the time, this is where you can find Mavrek. Occasionally, he will go out on missions with other nomads, but for the most part, he's kind of like the liaison here for the nomads in Echo Center. Runs the garage, even has like some quarters here where he sleeps.
Would I know if there are any other entrances that these people may not know about?
Possibly. I'm going to say it makes sense to me that, if not directly anti-authoritarian, the nomads aren't exactly like buddy with the security force and all that, so they might have some sneakier ways just in case they're needed. I'm going to say, if you will please roll me it's going to be under the mental ones. I know what I can do. It's much easier than the book. Okay. It is just sorted better on the character sheet, so I'm just going to have Bo's character sheet open, one in case of rolls, and also just so I have an easier time of seeing all the things. I would like you to please make a concentration check here to see if you can remember where you might be able to slip in. 11. You're pretty sure that there is some sort of sneakier way into the garage, but with an 11, for the life of you, you cannot remember.
I guess I'll just pull up to the front.
Cool. Yeah. As you pull up to the front, you see that one of the security force officers there, sees you approach, holds up a hand, and
Yes, glasses.
sorry there. You're gonna have to wait a moment. There's been an incident. If you can just
Clearly.
Yes. If you can just park your vehicle there a ways, just wait a moment. We'll get this all cleared up, and then you'll be able to enter the city. But we're kind of, at least this entrance is on lockdown for the moment while we investigate.
The owner of the garage, where is he?
The details of the investigation are still ongoing, and unfortunately, I cannot.
Is he dead?
Go ahead. If you will please make a... I don't know. I pulled up this sheet for a reason. Excuse me. If you will please make a persuasion check for me. Here. See how willing this security force person is able to sort of divulge things with you. 15. 15. Like not terrible. Here's what they will tell you. This guy here in this you can see is in medium body jack. They brought in some of the like somewhat heavier force, since like clearly there was violence like very quickly. Look, we're still figuring things out. We are also accounting for all of the people involved. At present, I don't know where the boss of the garage is.
We can help. Will you let us in? We know this place. And we just ran into the guys that did this, so...
You what?
Yeah, they're dead. You don't have to worry about them anymore.
Very.
So you just happened to run into the people responsible for this on your way in?
Look, I don't have time to deal with your incompetence right now. We just need to get in to this damn garage.
Ooh, damn.
Okay. With that being said, he still seems to be hemming and hawing a little bit. If there is, you can either try and roll another persuasion check, or if you want to present a little bit of evidence, he might be more willing to let you into an active crime scene.
Did we bring anything back?
Our smoking car.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. There's the car. There is...
Would you like to take a DNA sample off of our computer of the last person who tried to tell us what we could and couldn't do?
Incredible. Okay, this...
Jonathan has to consult more rules.
No, yeah, I'm looking
wondering
for
just how psychotic the group is right now.
Yeah, I was looking for intimidation as a thing. It does not have that like specifically, but what you can do is do a social. Where's the social section? There it is.
Oh, are you thinking of the stare down rules?
Actually, that's not what I was thinking of, but that actually is perfect. Let's go with a face down here, just to get him to just like fully back down.
My face down's very bad.
Aw.
I will
like a collective face down.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any?
I think it's just a flat. It's
I mean, yeah, so it's cool plus
cool
reputation plus
plus
1d10. I'm going to say that, at least in this case, as far as rep goes, this was something I put thought into actually just recently prepping for the session as far as like reputation goes. In this case, since you have made this claim that you just killed these people and you at least have like some circumstantial evidence that might corroborate your story.
I mean, I do still have bullet holes in me too. I'm
Right.
still injured from the fight.
Yeah, we all look like shit.
Yes, but on the flip side, you could also like have been helping this assault and been shot for it. So,
Apparently, one of the things that was lost in the apocalypse 100 years ago was the concept of Occam's razor.
touche. What I will allow is either I'm going to give you a bonus here, but either Pixie or Opera, you may make a face down rule.
My cool is 4. Yours is probably better.
I can try.
I am distinctly uncool. It's part of
So
my
I just
character.
roll cool, or is that what?
Yes.
am I-
There is if you next to fight on your character sheet here in Foundry, there is that little sort of smiley face looking thing. If you click the smiley face, that is a face down.
Ah, okay.
And I will roll opposed.
Oh no.
Okay. Like I said, I know we've mentioned advantage is not normally a thing in Cyberpunk, but in this case, I'm going to allow it. You may roll that again and take the higher. I mean, it's not nothing. I'm going to say between all the help from Opera, this was the other things. I'm going to give, let's see. Got it. The mooks are here.
Can I just punch him while he's distracted by Pixie getting in his face?
Oh no.
You can assault this guy if you want.
How scary does he look?
He has some other people with him, and he's wearing medium armor jack. But
I don't want to get into a big fight.
okay. With the sort of mental bonus that I was giving with all the help and everything, this comes out to a tie, which is useful. Sorry. Let's get into it. Face down, which was... It's just there. Parties are unsure. Nothing happens. Otherwise, loser has the option of either backing down. Okay. So with this tie here, he is... What in the world just happened? Ugh. Okay. Well, I guess I hit my keyboard too hard, and now the stream is goofed up. Hold on.
Oops.
Sorry, I have to readjust the dice feed on the... There we go. It's a danger. I just need a bigger desk. Here's what I will say. It is... There is enough of a distraction here from Opera. This is not a success on a face down. However, sort of in this moment of being unsure, if someone or someone's other than Opera want to try and sneak by, you may try and roll stealth. Or, in this case, in the interest of keeping the players who are present engaged here, if you would rather, I think Bo can likely distract this security force person by speaking with them. I'm not going to make Bo do a roll at this point, but any combination of the three of you, if you want to stealth by, you have the opportunity.
I am pretty sneaky, I say loudly to my friends. No, I don't say that aloud, but...
I mean, if I see one of the other two doing it, I'll probably try and follow, but no guarantees.
I am going to try to sneak!
I'm gonna try it too.
Let us see. That is a body skill. Oh my goodness.
Very good. Very good. And yeah, don't forget
Twin shadows.
your
Ooh.
luck points along the way.
Oh, that's
Just in
right. I have to
case.
refill my luck. I used every
I'm going to
last
put
one.
4 into mine, 4
Okay.
luck points. I am not rolling well today at all.
Wow, that's with the luck.
With the luck points, yep.
Okay. Since this is actually the first time y'all had to sneak, let me quickly see what it says about base 10. Try to find you perception skill. Yeah. I have 15 in this case, especially with this 2023. That is going to be enough. There is a lot going on in this area right now. So I think especially with Bo helping just sort of distract, it's not the biggest margin here, but that is going to be enough for the three of you to sort of sneak on by in the chaos. So getting into the area proper, you do see the other vehicles on fire, the sort of little shack sort of aside where he tended to sleep and live there is, you see the door is hanging partially off of one hinge there. Seems like it has been at least sort of ransacked, if not actually gone through. But yes, if you would like to try and find either Mavrek or some trace of him, I want also that is going to be a little bit off of the clock here, taking time to get your way past the security person. Okay. If you want to try and find him, I want y'all to roll me perception checks.
I think I should
It
just
rolled
go home
off
right
the
now.
10.
Okay.
Just for the record, I've rolled like 3 times so far. That was 2 2s and that one.
I know a little bit what that's
But
like.
you found yourself.
This is true. Exactly. So, unfortunately, with that patch, yeah, you're not really able to find much. There's a lot of fire and smoke, and I think with we can even tie it to your 15 stealth as far as you're really just trying to be unnoticed, and that affects your ability to search properly. With a 12 and 15 from Opera and Pixie, I will say that a 12 doesn't really get you too much here, Opera. With a 15 Pixie, what I will give you is you do not find Mavrek, but you're at least able to start the process of elimination of these are places where he is not. You all may try again, but that is more time off the clock. The clock is looking very low at this point.
Can I try calling him again and see if it goes through?
Listening for the cell phone.
Mm.
Absolutely, you can do that. That is very clever. Go ahead and you give it a call. So now I'm going to say you all can make a perception check again, but the DV is going to be much easier. It's not exactly quiet around here, but that will help.
Is it in that one?
18. Okay. 15 from Patch. Better than that nat one.
Yeah.
I took the hit for
Wow.
you.
Although
Oh, my
speaking of nat
goodness.
ones,
I
oh
took
dear.
the hit for you, Patch.
There you go. So yeah, Opera, you've as well. Like you are listening for a particular ringtone. That
No, I'm like, who could have done all this carnage? All this spilt oil?
yeah, it's
Of
just
course.
lamenting the loss of technology here, for sure. There is, or not only the loss of technology, I would say being distracted like that. You are standing in a particular place, and with this angle, it is sort of beautiful. Some of like the fire twisting and melting the metal as the oil spills and everything. You just get distracted by the unexpected art. With an 18 Pixie, you do hear some blips coming from sort of underneath one of these burning vehicles. And as you go to
shit.
look, you find an unconscious Mavrek pinned underneath some of this debris. You're able to tell that he is breathing, but it is very shallow. What do you do?
Patch, what is the best method here? How do we save him?
Is he pinned by something? Is there something actually going through his body? Let me put it this way: is it in a fashion where she would know that if it was lifted off of him, it would make it worse? Kind of like taking a knife out of a stab wound.
So what I'm going to say is, you can't tell all of what is going on here, but with the heat and the fire, the smoke, everything else going on, you do determine that it is likely, even though it's a little bit risky, it's likely going to be better to get him out of that situation rather than trying to treat him while there's still potential for explosion or something like that.
Then yeah, I'd look at Pixie and just say, we have to get him out of here first.
Is there anything around that I can use to help pry this off of him?
Yeah. I would say like there is enough, not only like tools and jacks and stuff that is supposed to be here, but there is enough debris that you could get like a heavy lever here to be able to sort of get him out.
I would also point out that Opera is basically half forklift.
Also that.
Oh, perfect.
Because I have a body score of 12.
Jesus.
Well, do your thing, Opera.
Is that?
So he's a jacked forklift.
Yes, I am.
I did not realize that
maybe,
body skill... Can skills get that high? I mean, I guess so.
I have an implanted Sigma, Beta, Kappa, Go Bulls.
I'm guessing that's the
He has an
Borg
entire
wear at work.
fraternity.
It's my Borg wear, yeah. It's the reason that I look so bad and that I've had to spend 3 or 4 sessions worth of loot getting therapy.
Okay. Understood. As someone who's not intimately familiar with every corner of the system, I feel like 10 is supposed to be the max, but in any case...
the item explicitly says set your body to 12.
Oh,
It does not say add anything to it. It explicitly says set your body to 12. There's
Then,
also
fair
the
enough.
implanted linear frame gamma or something that sets it to 14,
Jesus.
but is incredibly expensive. So, like,
Yeah.
implanted linear frame Sigma is the name of the item, and it explicitly says body is 12.
Okay, then
Damn.
yes, I believe you. There are a lot of items in this system, but yeah, that makes... Okay. Your belt of cyber giant strength. Perfect. Okay. Then...
Opera, you lift, I pull.
Yeah. In this case, I'm going to say...
I just put the text for the item into chat, just in case you were curious.
Awesome. Yep, that tracks for me. Okay, so since it has set your body to 12, yeah, you're able to get some sort of leverage mechanism here. With body 12, I'm going to say it's not as necessary to do a roll like strong enough to lift it. That I'm not worried about. I'm going to say Patch, let's get you in the mix here. Patch, if you will please roll me a... as I close the book. I'm going to say, please roll me a paramedic
Photography.
check. Right. Please roll me a paramedic check here in order to sort of not only kind of help guide this rescue effort, but make sure that you do everything that you can to make sure that things do not go terribly awry during this rescue operation.
Okay. Is this just to get him out, or is this also to help stabilize him? Because that's going to tell me if I...
Let's actually
the last 2 luck points.
Okay, I'm going to amend my statement in the interest of moving things forward here. With your body strength, actually, yeah, because this I think will then subsequently affect it. Opera, go ahead and roll me an athletics check, if you would please. $19. 19 is going to be sufficient enough to at least not either slip or otherwise bungle this lifting. I would say that yes, with this, Opera, you lift. Pixie and Patch, you're able to pull Mavrek out from underneath this flaming debris. And so yes, very shallow breathing. You see that there are like serious wounds. Currently, you do see some like minor wounds as far as like some you see like a couple of like bullet wounds here and there, which thankfully in this case it seems like they are not like mortally placed, these bullet wounds. But right now the most serious thing affecting him is the very heavy debris that fell and crushed part of his body. So now I do want a paramedic check. This is to stabilize him here. You are going to get one shot at this.
No pressure. Yeah, I'm gonna pour my last 2 luck points into this because, damn.
22.
Nice.
Fantastic. Then yes, with a 22. This is one of the more severe injuries that you've seen. Well, at least survivable injuries that you have seen before. But you quickly get to work. I would say while this is taking place, I will describe a little bit more here in a second, but do any of the rest of you like flag down any of the medical people or the security force people when you find and are stabilizing Mavrek?
I'll defer to Patch on that.
I mean, would I know any of them? Or would they be working for a different company? Or
So yeah, these are like, as you know, much as there is an official presence here in the city. Yeah, these are like your like actual emergency services versus, you know, doctors and the folks that you're like. Generally, they tend to run on the expensive side, which is why it's usually reserved for either like very serious cases where there's no other options, or some of the rich yuppie Galikites that come down and manage to get themselves hurt usually go to these emergency services. You would, I think, be passingly familiar with them. I have probably encountered them in the past, but at least I don't think that you would know any of these specific med techs.
okay. I mean, if I had any idea that at least one of them was on the friendlier side, I would try to wave them down.
Yeah. You would know that you might have to do a little bit of explaining as to all of you having snuck in past the tape line, and there would be the cost or the question of paying for whatever medical services, but they would certainly not turn Mavrek away. Like, they, might keep him in debtor's jail for a while, depending. The alternative is, you do think that you could treat this. You're confident in your skills,
Okay.
but getting him out of here and transporting him to where you can work on him would be the issue. So your kind of options here are turn him over to the med folks and have to deal with a little bit of explaining yourselves and also money, or try and get him out of here yourselves.
Is it possible to get one of these folks to help as far as transporting him out of the garage and then having Patch take him from there and then covering the cost of getting him out of the garage? Are you following what I'm saying?
Yeah, just
Okay.
just transportation and no other services. You could try and convince one of them of that. It's not their usual protocol, but
I was about to say, can Bo do it, but Bo is still working on distractions.
Yeah, I would say that at the very least, you could like send a text or something to Bo to like try and facilitate that.
Pixie, Opera, would one of you be able to do that? I think I'm still trying to work on making sure Mavrek doesn't die.
Sure, whatever I can do to help.
Okay. Then yeah, go with that. I will roll a quick. I'll roll a quick persuasion check for Bo. See how this all plays out. 17. Yeah, I would think that with a 17, there is enough chaos and injury here to deal with that. They are going to go along with this somewhat against protocol sort of behavior here. They are going to charge you some money for the transportation, but it will be a lesser amount than it otherwise would be.
Okay.
But on the plus side, you don't have to worry about stable transportation for Mavrek here. Going to get him back to your place, and you can work on him from there. But with that all squared away with this 22, and I was a little bit roundabout, but let's pin it all together. With a 22, you are able to get some, I would say, out of your supplies, get some oxygen in them, a little bit more oxygen rich, of course, than this smoke laden air here. And you're able to, one of the plus sides of there being so much like fire around here is that there is some wound cauterization. Even if it's a little bit gruesome, it does mean that he's not going to bleed out. You tend to other potential bleed out areas and at least position him just so that his body is aligned and he's not in like a weird position that these crushed bones are going to exacerbate, if that makes sense. Like, you stabilize him, make sure there's no severe spine and neck injuries that are going to really be a problem. Obviously, it is going to take some time, possibly some surgery checks later, but for now, Mavrek is breathing. He does not regain consciousness. So with this work of stabilization, it is a good thing that you pass this, because with the clock here, by the time that the other medics would have been able to work on him, much less find him, he probably would not have survived. So with a little bit of What is smooth talking from Bo? You get you flag down some of the more sort of well-meaning. That's not the word I'm looking for, but like the more like well-meaning med techs, and you're able to arrange this transportation here. And so, Pixie, obviously not able to regain consciousness. You do have his agent. You were able to pick that up. The screen is cracked, and there is like some damage here, but it's at least functional. If only you knew somebody who could fix it. Yeah. You watch as a stabilized Maverick is carted away towards Patch's place.
Pixie, I don't know if this is the best time right now while you are grieving, but I could replace his spine.
Maybe talk that over with Patch. And maybe
Right.
when he regains consciousness, you can maybe ask him if he wants that.
Alright, well, I will need a little bit of advance notice. All of the good scrap metal washes up at dawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Early bird gets the scrap. Okay.
I'm gonna just talk. I assume Bug isn't really operational anymore, so I'm just gonna like try to navigate it to whatever is secure location, and so that I can come back and repair it later.
Yeah. You like kind of in its death throes there, you're able to sort of at least, you know, push it off into a gaggle of, excuse me, like a grove nearby, some thicker trees, so that it's not at least just like sitting out in the middle of the road. And it's inoperable. It's not necessarily 100% safe, but at least it is more concealed. It may be fine, at least for the time being, for a little bit. Okay. Oh, someone's at the door. Okay. So then, I will say, so as you sort of wrap up all of this business here, you do get a little bit of a narrowing of eyes, more folded of arms from that security force person. Right. Now, yes, it's a good thing that you're able to find your friend and all, but it's also definitely against the rules to come on back here. Thought that was pretty well established. Regardless, if you actually face these people, kill them or what have you, I think we're going to need a little bit of a discussion here. Yeah?
Fine.
Right. We will be in contact. He gets your, like, agent information. Right then. We will deal with questioning a little bit later, since at least for now, don't have any evidence to suggest that you were a participant in this assault. You are free to go. I would ask that you stick around Echo Center for a while until we're able to arrange for all this. Okay. Is there... Well, actually, yeah. Batch, you definitely have something very immediate on your plate. For Pixie and Opera, is there anything immediate that you would like to address before we move on here?
I think Pixie would just head to Patches.
Okay. Absolutely.
Just know my offer is always on the table.
I'll let him know.
And so is Mavrek. Okay. Cool.
I was thinking it, wasn't going to say it.
But if you want, I can add in a folding table. Very convenient. Never be anywhere without a picnic set.
Yeah, man, like folding table, tails are cool. Maybe like a little just spikes. They're not technological, but like spikes are cool. Anyways,
It's called hostile architecture.
exactly. Okay. I will, in a moment, sort of determine what the cost of transportation is going to be, but before that, you get back to Patch, back to your place, and you start working properly on Mavrek here. I would say that. Well, you tell me, Patch, with your setup at your house, is there like an observation window like you see in like some surgical theaters, or is it just like your...
I'd say it's really more for secrecy, because the clients that usually like slip in the back door don't want to be seen. So
Totally
it's
fair.
kind of it's connected to the rest of her house, but totally separate in its own way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just like not only a little more of a back door for more secretive clients, but also a little bit easier to have this separate area be sterile. Okay. That absolutely works for me. So then, yes, as Mavrek goes into this sort of surgical suite here, Pixie and Opera, you are forced to wait outside while Patch works. Right then.
I start pacing and walking in circles while smoking profusely and staring at the clock like a 1950s cartoon.
Yes. Correct. Yep.
Shoot, Patch might give you a dirty look for smoking, like right next to the surgery room, but she wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, it's an e-cigarette.
Just a little bit of vaping. It's fine.
I'm just stubbing out jewels in an ashtray.
Perfect. Okay. Then at least for a little while here, you're sort of like in this waiting room. I'm actually going to keep the tension here. I'm not going to ask for a surgery roll yet, because at this point it has about gotten to that deadline, and you get a call on your... I'll say, like, yes, it would be on Beau's agent, but Beau can put it on speakerphone, so Pixie and Opera, at least you can interact. It is a call. Here it is. From the gardener.
Oh, these glasses, I love these.
Well, I do hope that this was a week well spent. Is there anything that you have for me so that our business relationship can continue?
I remember we specifically made a request of Friend Computer to help us locate something valuable once we reconnected them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember specifically what they found for us.
Sure thing. So it was... I mentioned it briefly in the recap, which was a while ago at this point. Right. But yeah, so the VR technology exists, but the simulation that you are part of is much more sophisticated, surprisingly, than what was currently available. So though Beau expressed some hesitation as far as like using the direct copy, just feeling a little bit like a personal connection there, you at least have some technology to offer that will advance that VR immersion technology.
Would folks be all right if I made the pitch while we were getting the call from the Grey Gardener?
Yeah, go for it.
Mr. Grey Gardens, what if I could tell you that you could live inside an entirely different world? How would that make you feel?
If you're trying to pitch me some sort of hallucinogen, I promise we are very well stocked on that front.
Oh, no, no, no. In fact, that is the dream, that while this is extraordinarily habit-forming, it is absolutely not physically addictive.
Elaborate?
Have you ever been to a brain dance or to a hollow show? It is tawdry, no? Now, imagine, though, that instead of being forced to absorb the drab and dreadful art of so many hollowsmiths, that you could make your own life inside a world that would respond to your every thought, your every action. You could be yourself, or anybody you could imagine.
So the short of it is, you found some way to improve virtual reality?
Oh, quite substantially. And the most important thing, I'm sure we could figure out how to reproduce these, but they are small, they are compact, and with a little bit of elbow grease, they might be commercially marketable. Imagine an entire army of brain-trapped slaves who you could feed any message you could dream of into their own mind. Imagine them thinking that they are living out their wildest fantasies inside a cage designed by the most brilliant computer programmers in Echo Center. That could be yours.
Uh-huh. I see. Well, Bo, I know I don't normally make a big thing of trying to judge those that you work with. I just simply want to reiterate, I hope that you are keeping a very close eye on that. That being said, the bottom line of what you are getting at does sound intriguing. At the very least, it does seem much more promising than the last delivery.
Philistine.
I am... Consider my curiosity piqued. I shall arrange a meeting shortly.
Ausgezeichnet.
And with that, the call ends. But before it does, Pixie, did you want to say anything on the speakerphone?
No, I think Pixie's kind of dissociating right now.
Totally makes sense. Fantastic. I'm going to say that for now, at least, without having Bo here, who has the stronger relationship with this NPC in your business arrangement, I will say that you do a meetup. He accepts this technology as the fulfillment of this job here, pays you for that, and yeah, it is a success. And we will address a little bit more about that later. For now, I will say that if this makes sense to everybody, no objections, Opera, you can go with Bo to sort of do this handoff, this meeting here. Once Bo rejoins us in later sessions, if there is anything significant we can do, like a little bit of a flashback to have that conversation. But in the meantime, Pixie, I am betting that you're going to kind of stick around Patch's place for now while things are still a little bit up in the air. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. All right, so Patch, it is time for that roll. I would like
Patch has no luck points left.
No
You
luck
can
points.
do it.
But I would say with a 22 on that paramedic skill, sort of feel that little bit of field work beforehand, that has not only made your job here possible, but also and also with the like sort of guaranteed transportation here, the DV on this surgery is going to be a little bit easier than it normally would be. So for surgery, it's not listed with the other skills because it is only a skill that medtechs have. Here it is. Very good. So yes, surgery is the tech skill. Yep. If you will please make a surgery check for me, please. Well,
Yes.
hot diggity damn.
If I had to get like a nat 20, I'm glad it was this one.
Yes, this is a very crucial time to pull out the clutch critical success. That is a, 10 critical success plus an extra 6 on top for a total of 25. Even though he was certainly in dicey condition when you found him, there are thankfully no surprises during this surgery. It all goes according to plan, and you're able to, pun apparently intended, patch up Mavrek here extraordinarily well. You still aren't 100% sure until he wakes up and sort of starts trying to move again, what entirely what shape he's going to be in. But with the very high checks that you have made so far, in addition to this 25 crit, I'm going to say that you, at least based on your medical opinion, externally there and like internally is fine neck. You check everything out as much as you're able, and it seems like there is going to be no like severe lasting damage. There might be some quirks here and there, a little bit of difficulty, is likely going to need some physical therapy, but he is well on the road to recovery. Well done.
Opera sees Patch come out and give the full prognosis, and then surreptitiously throws a piece of rebar bent into a gentle curve into a garbage can.
Back to the drawing board.
Sure you didn't need this? No? Fine. But, okay. Mavrek is going to obviously need some time to recover, even though things went well. So at least, Patch, you feel confident, and you can share this with Pixie, that Mavrek is out of the woods for now, and that I would say this took several hours. Right now, like it's practically dawn at this point. It was like nighttime by the time you got back to the city, and this took all of that time here. So it's basically dawn. Pixie, if you even slept during the night, but if not, then at least you're able to relax for the moment. Okay.
Thank you, Patch.
Of course. He was important to you, I know.
Okay. So with the dawn of a new day, the immediate danger has passed. You dealt with the Gainsaid attack. You dealt with extreme prejudice. Were able to deal with the attack, and you were able to save Mavrek from a likely death. But there are still a few questions to be answered. What, if anything, remains of the Gainsaid? What will they be up to? This pretty much right away. It takes a little bit for the news of this to travel, since it was like nighttime. Some people were asleep, but very quickly, news of this attack spreads like wildfire amongst the city, that the Gainsaid are no longer, picking off travelers or outposts. They're making direct attacks on the centers themselves, at least this one. And so as we start going into some downtime here, this is the political climate that emerges, just so you know. There was never much love of the citizens of Echo Center for those who are like in charge, the Galikites. But protests are now they're now like actual protests, not just verbal like disagreements. And that is all rallying around they are doing nothing to protect us. They don't care. They're not preventing these attacks. The response from the security force and the the leaders of the city were lukewarm at best. It basically came down to a, did everything we could. But some of the media, which is another role potential in Cyberpunk, you can be a media. It comes out that, this attack, it was basically a surprise ambush, but it, based on, and this lines up with your sort of travel time and all, and this call from Mavrek sort of in the middle of everything, it was quite some time until the emergency services responded, and it was too little too late. You saw some other people in, being scooped up by the medical services, and that includes some body bags. And it is leaked to the public that none of the victims were security force. They did not get, they apparently took their sweet time getting there and did not protect the citizens. And there is over the course of this week, you also, again, we can flash back to the conversation, but the gardener seems to go underground or above ground, depending on your perspective, a little bit more. You don't really hear from the gardener for a while. Not even things of, keep doing jobs for me. Seems like this public opinion turn against the Galikites is making things a bit more difficult for him. You all get the sense that, having dealt with that raiding party, having killed Jather and all these other agents, that the presence of the Gainsaid are likely going to be lessened for the near future. They have been set back, so you won't have to worry about them for a while. That being said, the public does not feel that way. And in fact, there is starting to be more and more public support for a faction known as the Emissaries of Tomorrow.
My kind of people.
If I can spell this correctly. Emissaries of Tomorrow, which you all have certainly heard of them. It's, at least previously, it was hard to even mention them with a straight face, because they were a bunch of doomsayers, the kind of people who would walk around with signs saying the end is nigh, kind of deal. But now they are getting a little bit of support. And being a bit more outspoken. They have pivoted a little bit, saying, instead of just, we're all doomed forever, it twists into we are all going to be doomed if we do nothing. If we stay under the boot of the Galikites. And the mouthpiece, more and more that you start hearing more and more about, is named Leska. I would think that Bo might have heard of Leska before, but she is not a figure that majority of you would really be familiar with. In addition, well, there are a couple things I want to address. But for now, looking at the clock, let's go ahead and take a brief break. I'm going to look into some money things for how much the transportation costs, as well as how much you were paid for your job from the gardener. And also be thinking, there's at least a little bit of extra scene work that I have in mind for you lot, but think about what, with this new sort of shifting political landscape, be thinking about what you would like to do for your downtime for the time being. This may be just a week, maybe a little bit longer. Who's to say for now? But let us take a brief break. See y'all back here in a few minutes. Alrighty, welcome back, folks. Very tense moment here, that tense break as things are really shifting here in Echo Center. But let's see what our gang gets up to as life gets a little bit more interesting around here. First off, so the gardener is very pleased with the technology that you have brought him, and so he gives a particularly spicy payout here. As you see those gears turning, he actually gives you 2,000 EBs each for a job very well done. He's very interested in this technology, and yes, and says something to the effect of, look, this is more like it. I do hope that our relationship continues in the future, especially if this is the sort of thing that you bring me. I will, of course, it will take some time to implement this technology properly, and you've done well, so consider the deadline and our partnership here extended. I do hope that you will be looking in the meantime, but it will take a little bit of time to implement this into our works. So, one might even argue that you've earned yourself just a little bit of vacation time. Please do not abuse this. Which is the last communication that you hear from the gardener for some time. How much time? We'll find out. One thing I do want to knock out here, just as the sort of like mechanical downtime thing, is the hustle. Before we get into any more narrative scenes or whatnot, let's go ahead and knock out that hustle. So for I will, if I roll badly, Lee, you feel free to yell at me when you watch this VOD later. I will go ahead and roll your hustle for you. Opera and Patch, you can roll a d6 for your hustle as you presumably do a little bit of work and some odd jobs. In the meantime here, earn yourself a little bit of extra pocket change. For you, Pixie, I'm going to say that the cost of that transportation, thankfully, the cost of what the service that would have been needed without Patch here on duty would have been 1,000 EBs. Thankfully, with just transportation and that's it, Pixie, I'm going to say that your hypothetical hustle money is going to be what pays for that transportation, so no roll from you. So that is a yes.
Can I split that, since I'm technically the one that asked for the transportation?
Oh yeah, sorry. I did sorry, you're super right. Yeah, I would say between it would make
all of it if you need.
it would make sense to me. Pixie and Patch, you discuss this out. Like Pixie, obviously, like this is your close friend, but yeah, Patch, you asked for the transportation, so it is up to y'all. Y'all can actually, Pixie, go ahead and do a roll before I sort of reveal how much money that y'all ended up getting. Actually, no. Go ahead and roll d6. And I'm going to make an executive decision based on the results. And Pixie, are you comfortable with like either like splitting this cost with Patch?
Patch, you've done so much. I mean, you saved his life. Let me cover this.
I mean, I'm not going to say no if you insist, but I am the one that asked. I don't mind splitting.
I'll take care of it. I put him in harm's way.
Okay.
I doubt he'll see it that way, but okay.
All right. Very good. Hospital. I think there's actually well, I said it last time, and I will say it again. I think there actually might technically be like a cost of things used as far as like even with your medtech doing it, but I have not been playing 100% according to the rules of Cyberpunk RED so far, and I don't plan on starting now. Especially since this is not meant to be a long and lengthy campaign. I'm fine with getting yourselves at least keeping a little bit more change in your pockets. 2, 4, and 5. All right, let's look at that hustle. Good hustle. 1. So first things first. Opera. Tech hustle. Very good. Okay. This actually makes a lot of sense. So this says here for that role, you rebuilt some tech you scavenged in the combat zone, which is a Night City sort of specific thing. But it makes sense to me that the tech that you managed to pick up and basically chunk into EBS for your therapy session, you had a little bit more than the therapy needed, which was 1,000 EBS. So you got yourself, and your role ability rank is still 4, or have you upgraded it? Still 4.
4, and I'm a little further away than everyone else because I spent 100 IP on becoming a netrunner.
Right. Okay. Then in that case, you just have a little bit extra. You get 100 EBS for having just a little bit of extra tech off the top.
I always knew that it would be easy to fix me.
Patch say 4. Well, actually, that tracks. And Nomad. So for these hustles here, it is role dependent as to like how much you get. It's role and rank dependent. So the higher your rank is, like the more money that you can get from these hustles. For each of these hustles, usually you get like 100 or 200 EBS, depending. At least at this rank 1 to 4. But but there is also at least a 1 in 6 chance across the board at this low rank to get no money, which may or may not have been what just happened. And then see, Pigs, you got a 5. Okay. Also tracks. Yeah, perfect. So I would for the medtech role, this one says you did some minor free clinic work for locals, but you can't eat goodwill. And Nomad for that one is delivered a client safely to a destination for 100 EBS. In this case, I'm actually going to, with that executive decision, this will eat the 100 EBS that you have earned here, Pixie. I'm going to say that there is going to be another 100 EB cost. So that is 100 EBS that is either owed by Patch, Pixie, or Split.
I can cover it.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. So then, Patch, go ahead and take 100 ebbs off, if you would, please.
Okay. So just so I can put it in my notes, just tell me what I have.
I hope you're keeping track of that on your character sheet.
No, I mean, what was the original amount? 2,000.
So yes, so
subtracting 100 from that.
Yes, all of you got
Okay.
2,000, and so then yes, you can subtract
Cool,
just
cool.
100 from
Okay.
that directly, and
The next day, Opera comes by and sees that Pixie and Patch are eating at like the free table at the Neon Garden. Goes, "Psh, suckers! I got a 10% discount on my brain."
Excuse me.
Congratulations.
I know, better than ever.
And I'm actually going to, I'm sorry to like waffle about 8 times on this. I'm going to say, so Patch, you have earned net 1,900 ebbs. I'm going to say it does make more sense to me that, well, I did say that the hustle bit, so yeah. Basically, no hustle money for either of you, Patch. With your particularly not so good hustle, ended up paying a little bit out of pocket, Opera, and that. So Opera, you are good with that extra 100, and let's see how. I'm glad I did not take my finger out of the page because I almost forgot to roll for Bo. And as a fixer for... Okay. And unfortunately, yes, so Lee, you can yell at me later. It says, deal went south, you're keeping your head down till it blows over. No ebbs. This, I think, at least tracks as far as with things getting sort of a little bit dicier as time goes on, as political landscape is. I think some of the usual deals, like the usual like deals and routes that Bo is able to make that extra bit of pocket change is everything's very much in motion. And so it's just doesn't quite pan out. There are fewer people coming to the Neon Garden to sort of like relax and de-stress because there are more people just sort of active and out there. Okay, so there is our hustle. Also, before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and add this money to Bo's sheet. I'm a little concerned that I'm seeing 0 money so far. Maybe they've got it written down.
I know
elsewhere.
that I've been maintaining mine on the Cyberpunk RED companion rather than actually in the Foundry.
Okay, then yeah, that makes sense to me. Tell you what, I will just put a note in our Discord that Bo is going to have an extra $2,000. So there's our mechanical downtime. Some of the sort of get that I say out of the way, but still helps tell the story a little bit, as some of you find it easy enough to resume some of the normal roles that you have, but not all of you. So first things first, I do have some scenes for the lot of you here. I think it's going to make the most sense, and tell me if you feel otherwise here, Pixie, but with some of new information that has come to light, would you sort of follow up with your family currently in jail for a crime that they were framed for?
I think so.
Okay. About how soon do you think would you go to follow up on this?
Maybe a few days. I would make sure that Mavrek is like good to go and whatnot. Maybe start on repairs on Bug, and maybe some of the other vehicles in the garage. Help out there.
Okay.
So not like immediately, but pretty soon after. I also would like if Opera could take a look at the earpiece that I found and see if there's any data that we can get off of that before I have that conversation or whatever.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, Opera, that makes sense to me. Go ahead. This might, I feel like this, yeah, is just going to be basic tech. By their very nature, the Gainsaid do not use super high-tech technology, which is why it's like this sort of earpiece walkie-talkie rather than an agent. With an 8, this...
What is this child's toy?
Exactly.
Verdammte Scheiße. Like struggling to get the special screw out of it. Ah, God in Himmel.
Yeah, that itty bitty little Phillips head screwdriver, like for like the most fiddly of screws. Exactly. You're like, where the fuck did I put that thing? This is...
Don't use this Imperial units anymore.
Yeah. This thing is so ancient and out of your usual, surprisingly, your usual wheelhouse that you cannot make heads or tails of this tech. Or actually, here's something that I will add on top. Like one, yeah, this is just like super ancient, not even remotely resembling like even agent technology, which is pretty standard. I would say that between all of the, car crashing and whatnot that also went on, I think it did get somewhat damaged. Whether or not that was accidental or maybe they sabotaged it, knowing that, that could be recoverable. You're not entirely sure, but unfortunately, you're not able to get much out of that earpiece. If you found another one, you might be able to either, match it or, it might be able to help if you got another one. But for now, unfortunately, you don't really get much out of it.
Pixie's just gonna hang it like a mirror ornament in her car.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Love that. Okay, so then with that being said, tying a little bit to some of y'all's action at the scene, you do get a text communication from the security force asking at least Pixie to come. Actually, yeah, I think all of you would have gotten that like text about coming in at some point very soon to sort of debrief, talk with the security force about what happened. But as you say, you know, it's later this week. But as you say, you wait a few days before you go down there, and kind of the day that you have planned, this few days later, you get a comparatively very terse communication from security force. Before it was like we request that you appear at this date and this time to discuss the events of blah, blah, blah. This communication instead just says, the previous appointment has been canceled. Period. And when you, if you go down to sort of the security force headquarters, there are protesters outside. They have this sort of barriers. They have barriers set up in front of the front doors, and it does not seem like they are letting anybody in.
Did Bo get the name of the person that we talked to at the garage?
Yes. Their name is... no, not one of these cool names. Their name is Jessup.
Jessup's kind of cool.
At least when you got his name, he like obnoxiously overpronounced the P, which made it sound a lot less cool. Yeah, Jessup. There is, coincidentally though, when you do approach the station there, it is not just, there's not nobody on the other side of the barrier. There are a few guards kind of standing by to make sure things don't get too rowdy, and you do spy Jessup as one of these people placed out front.
Can we flag him down, grab his attention?
Yeah, I would say so. Since you have interacted with him before, you see he sort of like instinctually like reaches out a hand to like stay back. But then like, so you see that he recognizes you. Yes, I was from the attack. You know.
Yeah. Can we have that chat now?
Well, the thing is, things are, and like as you're like talking pretty loudly to be heard over the crowd. It's not really a great time. Would yes, love to take your statement, but things are that may need to wait until things settle down a little bit. Of course, we are still looking into the incident, but there are other things that have sort of grabbed our attention in the meantime.
Well, I think we probably have some information that might help with those efforts. Can we speak to somebody who knows more than you do?
You, for one, you do hear some people like, a nod at this time. Some people around you who overhear that, start like, chanting and rallying against, like, of course, still doesn't help us. But when you say that, you do hear a couple people nearby go, oh. Yeah, dude, you're dumb. He sort of grits his teeth a little bit. Possibly. What information do you have exactly that you think is so very pressing?
We can't share that here in front of all these people. It's sensitive information. It's no wonder you can't do your job.
He again is gritting his teeth against these insults, but you do see that, having to be at a fairly audible level to be heard over the crowd, that there are ears listening in. Most of them are yelling about how the security force does not want to help the people, protect the people or help them survive, the little things. So you see him look between you and the crowd. Fine. Yes, you may come in momentarily so that we can listen to your problems and help them be resolved. The crowd doesn't buy it, but very carefully, they do admit you beyond the barrier. You walk inside, and there is sort of that, front desk there with now. I'm not sure if Pixie has been inside this station before, but so you're not sure how new of a addition it is, but there is sort of this thick plexiglass there that separates the sort of front lobby area from anything beyond, especially the people there at the desk. And so when the door is closed behind, Jessup here looks at you. All right, fine, yes. So what is it that's so important that you couldn't say out there? Look, I want to help you and all, but I can't really help you if I don't know what to tell my superiors. Like, I can't just tell them, hey, someone wants to tell you something. What have you got?
Well, how about a trade? I give you information, and then you give me something I want.
That depends. Like, what? Do you want some coffee or something?
Some people.
What? Wait a second. Are you involved with the other? You part of your group, whatever, in lockup?
Maybe.
Well, you're right about one thing. That is above my pay grade. God. All right, let me get the Sarge, see what we can do. God. I was trying to stay... Jonathan was trying to stay away from too many police terms, but maybe not Sarge, maybe like Commander. Commander feels better. Sure.
Head honcho.
Yeah. Absolutely. The official there on the name tag, head honcho. Okay, I've got it. So he goes back. He's like, all right, just stay here and please just stay here and don't cause any trouble. And he goes kind of through into the back. Do you in fact wait patiently?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess. Depending on how long it takes, I guess.
Patiently.
Yeah, or I should say, patiently or impatiently, but if you just like wait there or get up to some mischief. Okay. Yeah, if you wait there, like a couple of minutes pass, and then you see another person in the security force garb who you see like it does look like a nicer outfit, has a hat on top there as well, and you see that their nameplate says Commander Weston. And I'm going to use the same glasses because it's security force. Right there. So, Jessup tells me that you have some information that will help us out. Apparently, information valuable enough to trade for people. It better be some damn good information.
Well, before I tell you anything, I want a guarantee.
I cannot give you that. Actually, before we go much further, just to solidify who we're talking about here, who is it exactly that you're wanting to trade for?
There's a couple of Margots in your custody. Traveling magic troupe.
Yes.
Falsely accused of crimes.
Accused of crimes. Falsely, we'll have to wait for the trial. But, yes, accused of crimes. Though you want to trade for all of them?
Yep.
Unless your information involves stopping these riots out here and placing any the head of the Gainsaid here in my lap, then sure. Short of that, though, go ahead and... Actually, Pixie, go ahead and roll me a persuasion check here. $15? Not bad. With a 15. Here's what he'll give you. Look, I hope you understand that I I cannot guarantee something like that, especially since they haven't even been on trial yet. If they were, I don't know, out on bail, or we could talk house arrest, something like that. But if you even have a house, whatever. But I can't pre-trial just let them go. I hope you understand that.
How about just one person?
Tell you what, if this information they're about to give turns out to be solid, we will consider that when they do go on trial. Cooperation, good behavior. If they do end up with a guilty sentence, it will be slightly lighter. But again, we can't just let people go. That's not how this works.
I beg to differ.
I was about to say something. Jonathan's about to say something very gross in character, and I will not. Yeah. You can differ all you want, but look, that is as much as I can do. Is how they will be looked on in a more positive light. And he actually, in particular, what did you say your name was again?
I didn't.
So might I have the pleasure of knowing who I'm speaking with?
Nope.
Looks at you a little bit suspiciously, but sort of shakes his head, knowing that is unlikely to get that out of you. All right. So what is this crucial information?
How much do we tell him, crew?
Wait, are we there too? I thought it was just Pixie.
I assumed it was everybody.
No, I think I'm spending the whole week getting frighted.
Yeah. Most of your time is spent there. I would say that you... I don't think that they would not have let all of you inside the station. It's possible that Opera and Patch are outside. They went with, and Bo they went with you. But I think in this moment, it is just you inside the station. That being said, presuming that you discussed this beforehand, we can, of course, retcon, and you can speak now as how much are you willing to tell them?
I mean, I assume we wouldn't tell them about the places we've been and stuff, but at least tell them about the encounter with Jather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that. I guess, is there any information that we want to leave out for sure?
Everything else? It's up to you how much you want to give over to these guys. I mean, I know... How much of your family do they have?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Jonathan and I haven't decided.
Yeah, they basically have the entire... this is true, we did not discuss specific number of people, but essentially the rest of your family who's involved with the magic act that day, especially... let me scroll for the name. Especially Minna. Yes, especially Minna, your matriarch leader of this family of both blood and mostly adopted, I believe we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely being held. As far as specific number, we can discuss, but probably, a fair few, enough people to be able to perform and run a show with a little bit of smuggling on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so
I mean, we trust your judgment.
Yeah. Okay.
You do
so
also,
I think...
you do also have the coded message and the potential cipher. I would say at this point you have not had time to decode it yourselves, but that could be a bargaining chip.
Just gonna point out, if we are gonna use that as a bargaining chip, Patch would have made like a copy of it before doing so.
Okay.
I think at this may seem a little harsh, but given how sort of intense some of your activities have been up to this point between the surgery and therapy time that we have not addressed yet, it's a pretty complex code. You do not have you may have like some of the information, maybe a partial copy, but you do not have a perfect copy yet.
Well, in that case, I think Patch would be a lot more reluctant to have us hand it over to them.
Yeah. This if you
That's
decide
fine.
to use it as a bargaining chip, this is not something that you're going to be able to get away with without cost.
I don't know that Pixie would even use that, to be
Okay.
honest. So I guess I'll just tell them, like we were coming back to the city. I won't divulge where we were or what we were doing. And we just ran into these people, and it was clear that they were responsible for something, and we had heard from friends in the city that something big had happened. There was an attack. So we just kind of put two and two together, decided we should stop these people, and then basically everything from that point on, I will tell them.
Okay.
And then he ran into a tree.
Yeah.
And then
I will be sure to mention that part.
And then he ran into a fucking tree. Yep. Okay. So yeah, you detail. Let's see. Share what Jather was saying to you as he was dying. Some of the like stuff about his organization, the Gainsaid.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So you tell this story here. You see a few a raised eyebrow here and there. Like happen to be in the area, whatnot. But based on your attire, I think he is familiar with the idea of a nomad. And then when you finish this story, and that's it? No, okay. Well, I appreciate you going out of your way to take on these criminals, these terrorists, let's call it what it is. Though I would not have recommended that course of action, we do still appreciate your efforts. I think that is enough to look a little bit more, if that is what you wish. Again, as he sort of looks down at you, for the Margot family, whom you have some sort of relationship with, to have them looked on in a more positive light. But what you've given me is a great story. I'm willing to believe you for at least most of it, if not all of it. Seems to line up, especially with what we've been able to... of course, we sent out our trackers, came across the wreckage of those vehicles. That all seems to track. But this is... well, and also appreciate a little bit more insight into what's going through these terrorists' heads, but that is not enough to get any of them out. Look, I'm sorry. If you had something a little bit more concrete for me, base of operations, so, something like that, or something that we can act on, then we could talk. But
I mean, we did come across a camp. Maybe you could pick up some stuff there.
Is there anything there?
Maybe. I mean, there used to be.
Yeah. It's not the first time that we have come across one of their camps. It would be the first time for there to be anything there. Unfortunately, they are very good about cleaning up after themselves. I'm glad this time at least you stuck it to them, cleaned up after them. But look, unless you give me something I can act on, the more positive light is about as good as I can do for you.
Well, the next time I come with information, I expect to be listened to.
What do you think I've been doing so far? Like, you've seen people
without
out
pulling teeth here.
Look, clearly, we've got a lot on our plate right now. I appreciate that you came down and talked to us, but this, unfortunately, doesn't really change much, which is, I wouldn't say this was a complete waste of time, but yeah, thank you for what you've done.
Well, it's clearly more work than you've been doing lately, so.
I would choose my words a little bit more carefully if you would consider where you're standing right now. Especially if all of your friends are in lockup right now. I'm not saying that I'm looking to do so, but if I were to lock you up, it doesn't seem like there's much anyone out there who could do anything about that. So, I'll just be more careful about how you speak to us like that. All right. So, if you do come across anything else, any actionable evidence, anything like that, you can call us. Then maybe we can talk about getting your friends out of there. Can I at least put down some kind of name I can call you by so I can make a report of this?
Nope.
Can't even bother with a fake name. Fine. I'm going to put down Nope. Yeah, you do clock, of course, like here in the station, like there are cameras. Like they've got you on video record if nothing else. Right. Well, you have a good day. Stay out of trouble.
I'll just flip him off behind me as I walk out.
You can hear the pursed lips from behind you. Yeah. And you leave. Let's see. Great. Okay, so yes, you talk to them. Let me bring up my notes. Okay. While we have the wheel turned for Pixie, let's go ahead and as the time goes forward for a little bit here, you get a message from Patch that Mavrek is awake.
I'll head straight there.
Okay. You head over there, and for a little bit more information. So, Patch, thankfully, recovery has gone pretty smoothly, considering how well how successful the operation was. The usual bits of changing out bandages from time to time, but then a little bit sooner than you expected, he does wake up. He is still a little bit out of it with some of the pain meds and just general situation that he is in, but he is awake, which is a very good sign, and is able to like kind of for the sake of more interesting roleplay, we'll say like you come back, you come check on him, and he can speak kind of falteringly. Still not at 100% by any means, but yeah, he's awake. So you arrive at Patch's place. You're both together. Do you head straight in, or do you talk to Patch first?
I'll talk to Patch first.
Okay.
How's he looking?
Surprisingly well. Came to a little faster than I thought. Just, I wouldn't pester him too much just yet, because he literally just came back from the brink of death.
Got it.
So, treat him with care.
Always.
I'll just step aside and, with a flourish, usher Pixie in.
Perfect. So you walk in. There are the usual sort of beeps of the medical equipment here, all the heart rate monitors and so on. There is doesn't need an iron lung, but still on sort of the like breather devices. So still some oxygen, since his breathing is still on the shallower side, especially how partially collapsed some of that internal organs and structure and all that business was. I'm going to say that I would still say, even at this point, with that critical success and a 22 on the paramedic before, that there's still no immediate signs of lasting major injury. But as you walk in, his eyes are sort of half open, flutter a little bit as the door opens. Looks over in your direction, blinks a little bit, and it takes a few seconds for his eyes to adjust, but then you do see him look up and like fingers twitch a little bit as if he's trying to wave.
Hey, Mav, you look like shit. Appa was ready to give you a new spine. Glad that wasn't necessary.
What do you mean was ready?
Perfect.
The two of you can talk about it later.
Incredible. So yeah, you say this and say it looks like shit, and you see his eyes sort of close for a bit as his chest sort of shakes a little bit. Oh, you can't make me laugh like that. But based on how I'm feeling now, robot spine doesn't sound too bad.
Well,
If you
I'm
got
sure
a
Opera
spare.
would oblige.
Well, as long as I can still drive, maybe. And you see that he looks at you for several beats before. Sorry, I couldn't do anything. Made you save my ass like this.
I'd save your ass any day. But just know, we did get him.
Did.
Yeah.
Good. Well, at least they can't threaten any more asses out there.
We got a lot of work to do in the garage, though, so
Yeah.
you better get on your feet quick.
It, feels like it might be a bit before I can fix up cars again. Especially with the total disrespect for vehicles they clearly had. Can I ask you to keep an eye on the place till I get better?
Already done.
Good. Good. Well, I hope, feel like part of me knows better, but hopefully with them taken down, they'll, look a little bit more kindly on Margot's.
They better.
Yeah. Well, I think you and I both know how that usually goes. And, technically, yeah, there was some smuggling, so, like, they were technically right about it. They still are the worst, but don't you find what you were looking for out there?
Yeah, we did.
Good. Well, I think right now I might be just looking a little bit more for the back of these eyelids. And maybe a robot spine, you know. We'll see about that.
Sure thing.
Glad to
I'll be here when you need me.
Yeah. Glad to see you on your feet.
You better be on your feet soon enough.
Well, I'm glad I still got him. We'll see.
And you see he, this being the most conversation that he's had since the attack, he starts to kind of like nod off a little bit more. If there's any last things you'd like to say?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, and he, before he does go off though, like when he mentions the garage, he's sort of like, and say like, you know, his jacket is probably hanging in the corner in this recovery room. So he sort of points it out.
Keys are yours. At least till I can use them again. There's, well, I don't know how much exactly is left that runs, if anything, but you've got the keys. You've got full reign of the place. Just don't burn it down any more than it already has.
I'll do my best.
Good.
Good. I can't.
I'm gonna.
Yeah. And he just sort of mutters as he falls asleep. Okay. So Mavrek is on the road to recovery. Will probably be some time, but at least the prognosis is good.
Yay.
All right. Let's. let's turn wheel over. Since we've got Patch in the room here and Opera at least also standing by with a robot spine ready to go, let's sort of check in on these therapy sessions. So yes, as written, it takes a full week of pretty intense, especially since you, if my memory serves, you picked the more intensive therapy. I think the more intensive therapy one. I know there's like 2 different levels. One's more expensive than the other. I'm trying to remember. There it is, 229.
I am just gonna mention though,
Mhm.
just because Patch is Patch,
Mhm.
as soon as everything with Mavrek, we know he's gonna make it.
Mhm.
Her very next instinct would be, especially considering everything that's happening, she would have immediately tried to locate her brother, make sure his ass is safe
Okay. I like it.
before the therapy.
Okay. Then, yeah, I think that'll be a nice narrative bookend. So, like, we can address that. We can do therapy, and then I've got something else for you, Opera, that we can sort of bookend here with this. Or, yeah, we'll talk about it here in a second. But, yeah, Patch, Maverick is out of the woods. Things are starting to look a little bit more tense, a little bit more potentially dangerous in the city, depending on how extreme these protests get. But yeah, you try and contact your family, and yeah, for the most part, they seem glad enough to hear from you, since that means you're a little, or at least alive, presumably on the safer side. Like, is there any? You're just checking with family, make sure that they're safe, or is there anything more?
It was two-sided.
Mhm.
Her main goal was to locate Marcus,
Mm-hmm.
make sure he's safe.
Yep.
Secondary, just put the feelers out with her extensive family network throughout the city, just trying to figure out how fast is this spreading, this unrest. Like, is anything overtly, or even not overtly, something, if there's anything that the media is not saying that we should be aware of.
Okay. Yeah. So by and large, like, there is, I would say, a main media outlet run by some Galikites, which I think for the most part, most people here in Echo Center just completely ignore because it's about what you'd expect. The media that you check, that is run by the actual people in Echo Center, these for the most part, it varies from pretty straight reporting to some of the like increased protests that are going on to some of them are a little bit more shit stirring. Like, some of them are like seeming to be like on the side of these protests and are quite a bit more outspoken than you are used to. Particularly ones that seem to like mention getting like involved with the emissaries of tomorrow, which is also notable in that they were generally like never mentioned in the media because, again, most people just wrote them off. But something about the events that have taken place has given them some modicum of power. When you contact your family, like, yes, you want to contact Marcus. Mm-hmm. You do get responses from your more extended family first. Some of them just give responses like, "Yeah, we're fine. We're just sort of keeping our heads down." Some of them respond more like, "Yeah, glad to hear from you. Have you talked to Marcus lately?" We have, just kind of seeing if you have too. Which seems a bit odd until you do get a response from Marcus as well. He responds with, "Yeah, I'm fine. Would love to meet up and talk." Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is that real time or is that just a message that she gets back.
Well, I mean, you can choose to respond to it as you will. Do you agree to like, kind of? He, like, it has like, with some frequency in the past, like crashed at your place pretty often. Usually, it's sleeping off hangovers and the like. It part of it does cross your mind that it's at least a little bit longer than usual since he's come around to crash. And I would say that Bo is also able to confirm that he has not been at the Neon Garden lately, which is also unusual. So like at first there might be some concern, but he does respond and like asks to kind of like just have a chat.
Yeah, she would definitely try and meet him.
Gotcha. I don't think I used glasses for Marcus/Scratch before.
I don't think so.
But just so we can distinguish at least some of these NPCs, I'll go ahead and use these.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. It's... Yeah, we'll go with these. It's fine. Just for most people in Echo Center do not wear glasses. Most people who need vision correction, either have contacts at the very least, or far more commonly, some sort of like cyber tech. I would say he does too, but distinguishing. Okay. So he walks into your place. He seems pretty, like, well put together. He seems like he has bathed. You don't see like any bloodshot eyes or sort of half closed, like clearly pounding headache sort of expression. Walks in. He like goes to give you a hug. Jonathan's brain just stopped working all of a sudden. Your code name is Patch, but what is your actual character name again?
Tara Trilby.
Tara Trilby. Yes, thank you. He's like, so good to see you, Tara. And all still safe. I know you've been out on some jobs lately. I mean, usual, but it's good to see you.
You too. Look at you.
Yeah. What can I say? So this is the first time that you've spoken to him. The last point of contact that you had with him was that conversation that we had several episodes earlier, and then he left, leaving a note saying out on a job, back later. This is the first time that you've spoken with him since. Yeah, well, I have a few people to thank, but yeah, things are just looking a little bit more clear to me these days.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Like how?
Well, I went out on a job, usual sort of protection enforcement thing. You may have laughed about it a few days ago, but it's actually a job for the emissaries of tomorrow. I thought it would be just easy cash, standing around while these people hold up signs. Sure, why not? But, well, they have, I think, more than a lot of people around here, a pretty clear vision of how, not only how things are, but how they could be. I'm glad that more people are, and myself included, that are listening to them now. As long as we stay under, physically and figuratively, the Galikites. Like, what even is there for us, for the future, for our lives? The way things are right now, I'm not the only one who got caught up with indulgences, places like the Neon Garden, I was spiraling. But now I've got some direction.
Okay.
And, if... I don't know how you feel about all the things that are going on right now. I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't given them the time of day before. I certainly hadn't. But I do hope that you at least consider, ideally joining us, but at least helping out. I know that things are, well, a little bit chaotic, but at least not violent.
A little.
Yet. Yes, look, I know. But at least the protests haven't gotten violent. Security
Yet.
force may have, yes. Security force may have something to say about that sooner rather than later. At the very least, would love to have you come and join us, but if not, at the very least, can we start with, if people do end up getting hurt, can I bring them here?
You mean people other than you?
Yeah.
Well, let's say for now, okay. Because, like you said, not violent. Yet.
Right.
And this clearly seems to be important to you, and it's done wonders for you so far.
Thank you.
I mean, you know how I feel. If it's not family, fuck them all. But if this is important to you, I will... I'll do my best to support it.
Okay. And look, I know a lot is happening in a very short amount of time. We all know that. And yes, we are family. I've, spoken with some other of our family as well, and some of them are really, really interested.
Yeah,
making
some
a
of them were
difference.
asking about you.
Yeah.
Have you not been keeping in contact with them or something?
Oh, no, so those are the, fortunately, those are the people who are kind of coming around to agreement, and some of them have even attended some of our meetings, sort of are getting involved, and I'm guessing that I guess, maybe not intentionally exactly, but am leading the charge for our family. I'm guessing that's why they kind of pointed you my direction.
Look, tell me honestly, since you seem to be so gung-ho about this, are we looking at some civil unrest? Or are we talking a potential civil war? How much are you willing to throw into this?
Look, I obviously would hope it would not have to come to civil war. But sometimes, when laws are unjust, you need to break the rules a little bit to make positive change. I'm not about to become like a general and a assassin or something like that, but things might get ugly. They're certainly looking that way so far. And I can't force you to do anything. But I just hope that you can be with me on the right side if or when things do get ugly.
I get the feeling they already are, but okay. Okay. I'll throw in with this with you. I get that you don't want to be a general. Just don't be a martyr. You got that?
Right. Well, yeah. You take care of yourself. If, I'll give you some time to think about it. If you do want to get a little bit more involved, let me know.
Can I get a hold of you easily if I do?
Sure. You know how to call me.
Okay.
Yeah. And he gives you another hug, or at least goes in for another hug.
Yeah. Sure.
And before he leaves, he sort of stops and is like, do you think I heard rumor that you've got someone you're helping somebody who was there in the attack a little while back?
Yeah, I'm helping one of the victims. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's what I mean. I was not meaning the other thing. And just
wait. I'm confused out of character too. What is he referring
sorry,
to?
as in yes, he is referring to Mavrek. He was not suggesting that you had one of the Gainsaid one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's not what he was implying.
Got it.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm glad that you're able to help him, like usual. But was I'm guessing that security force folks like that weren't super helpful. Yeah.
When is security forces ever helpful?
Exactly. Well,
stay safe.
I do what I can. But and as he goes to leave, he says, "Well, I will try not to be a martyr, like you said, but better a martyr than in the gutter where I was before." And he closes the door.
She is just gonna break down and cry.
Yeah. Okay.
And probably drink.
Fair enough. So with that in mind, then, do you? Let's actually wait just a moment on that therapy. So I've got basically I've got one scene for Opera in Mind, then therapy, and then a brief scene for Pixie here at the end. Again, any sort of stuff during this time with Bo we can address later.
And Jonathan, if we're coming up against any kind of time limit, I'm happy to hand wave the therapy thing since we've already kind of resolved it off screen.
Sure. I would say that we don't need to spend a ton of time on the therapy, but it's something I at least like to give the opportunity to touch on. And as far as time goes, we're at a actually pretty good clip too, and at a good schedule once all of these scenes resolve. At least that seems to be the case for me. Great. So for you, it is not something that we've really super gone into detail before, but Opera, as you go back home, so you have this Technohemian community. You said towards the beach, yes, like nearby. What does Opera's abode look like? If I remember correctly, there was brief mention of like a kind of like a hut of some kind. Like what does it look like when you come home?
So, Opera's home is sort of hut adjacent. One could mistake it for a pile of scrap metal, but it is too structurally sound ultimately. And it builds in rather idiosyncratic ways. Doesn't appear to have been all planned at once, but rather has expanded to include little cul-de-sacs and additional wings and enlarged rooms, and even a shoddily put in second floor over the main area to accommodate his ever expanding designs of self-perfection and general robotic wizardry. And of course, his dear elderly mother lives in the turret tower.
Very good. Yeah, I like that a lot. Seems like it is unconventional architecture, perhaps, but if you know where to look, you see like golden ratio, Fibonacci sequence, fractal style stuff there. That makes a lot of sense to me. Maybe even some like circuitry adjacent geometry, things like that. Cool. So then heading back to your community there, rewind the clock a little bit at the break of day, you go back, and as some more of the, we'll say, unrest increases in Echo Center, that echo, pun intended, is also felt there on the beach community. It is certainly close enough that it is practically a part of it, just like slightly removed as sort of this artist colony, but there you start hearing some dissent from some of the members of your community. There are some that are really more artistry focused, who like just want to focus on the art and that's it. But some of the other members of the community, especially those who are a little bit more on the more cybernetically enhanced side, such as yourself, there seems to be some growing support for this movement attached to the Emissaries of Tomorrow. Specifically, there is a member of your community known as Comet, spelled thusly: C0M37, referred to as Comet, who is like rallying some support amongst your Technohemian community for these Emissaries of Tomorrow. As you go outside to hear him speak, you get yeah, we'll just reuse these. Sure. He's sort of like doing an impromptu rally as a small group of people are listening to him. These terrorists, these Gainsaid, came for the nomads because of their technology, their vehicles. Hey, the chat does work. I see Jeff's chat popped up there. Fantastic. Sorry, I got distracted. Thanks, Jeff. They came for the nomads to cripple the motion of technology, of our way of life. Are we not next on the list? Those who are so deeply in love, connected, our lives are connected to our technology. Of course, we would be next. But do they care? Security force? The Galikites? Those idiots? Which, forget if I've mentioned before, but that is, Ecronia is the name of that floating society, colloquially referred to as idiots. Yeah. Do you think that those idiots up there give us a rat's ass as to what happens to us? No. If we do nothing, we will be dead, and they won't care. We must do something. For ourselves, for our children. He is sort of like speaking to the people just around here. Opera, what do you do?
Well, to what degree does this really involve me? I find myself being able to move amongst these communities fairly easily. I mean, I am so very likable after all. Look, I've had such great success with Galikites. I've had such great success with my new friends, the computer. Do I really need to expand my social circle any further with this Comet fellow? I mean, really, it sounds like he just needs to relax, sit back, take some Soma, and take in a holo film from Ingmar Borgman.
Is this just sort of like Opera's thought process?
Internal monologue as he's trying to resist the urge to get involved, and to be like, nope, definitely going back to my hovel. Mother needs an oil change.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is totally valid. As you're like, this seems like something, it's like not really something I should get involved in. As time progresses, more members of the community seem to get on board with this. It is kind of hard to deny, especially seeing how little response there is from security force to like protect people down here after that attack, at least perceived, if not also actually literal. More and more people are being convinced by this logic that if they are targeting technology like the nomads have, that they could be next. That you, the Technohemians, could be next. So I'd say if you're like continuing to try and like stay hands off, you are certainly free to ignore them. But as this support continues to gather some steam, there are some members of the community, Comet I would say included, who are trying to contact you directly as someone who like is clearly a very physically capable person.
Yeah, I think Opera would mostly keep to himself until somebody like directly tried to reach out to him.
Okay.
He is, a little. He's always been kind of on the outskirts of this community anyway. He more sees it as he views probably a lot of these Technohemians as posers and Philistines. And it's like, oh, so what if they're coming for your technology? Just one less horrific light brightens the world. They would never touch my masterpieces.
Okay. Fair
I mean,
enough.
if people directly engage with him, I mean, obviously, he's not just gonna, like, walk past them.
Sure. Then I think, yes, at some point during this, I may come up with a more solid number a little bit later. As far as like time passing here, I'm abstracting things a little bit here. Since I mentioned that Gardner is going a bit more underground, and so far that has been more or less the sort of biggest time clock to put y'all on. Y'all have you have more time than usual with some of these like odd jobs, and also like therapy, surgery, so on. But at some point, there is... Oh, thank you, Lyman, for the 500 bits. Thank you. Love to see that. We appreciate you. There is a knock on your door, Opera. And when you either look through the peephole or open it, I presume that Opera probably has a peephole or camera of some kind. It seems like that's in character. Comet is at the door. Opera.
Yes, how may I help you?
Yes, Opera. I presume that you have heard some of the... Well, you simply can't have missed some of the activities going on here. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed that I have not seen your face at some of these gatherings. I would have thought that you would be quite on board for a cause like this, to protect ourselves and our technology.
My apologies, I must have mistaken it for one of your wretched ballets.
You see a flicker at the corner of his mouth. Well, artistic criticisms of valid art mediums aside, I don't have as much time for my ballets these days. Not when there's a threat like this at our very doorstep. Or if I did continue to focus on my ballets, how much longer would I be able to do that?
Well, if market forces had anything to say, not very long.
Yes, one could say that. And if the audiences decide it is not for them, so be it. That is not what my performances are for. They, yes, are to be witnessed, not necessarily liked. Not everybody really gets it. But that is not the goal. I think that you of all people know that. We, I think, are not so dissimilar. We go to greater lengths for our art. If we do nothing in the face of these, well, Galikites also, these idiots also doing nothing, I don't think that there will be anything left. I would hope that someone as you are very skilled. I would hope to have someone like you as a part of our cause.
I think that perhaps you've misapprehended where we stand with respect to these competing forces, Comet. You see, I have no problems with the Gainsaid because they pose no danger to me myself. You see, I and my friends have already defeated some of these ne'er-do-wells, and frankly, their self-imposed limitations, their hidebound wretched clinging to the wet strips of meat that God so cruelly wraps them in, it weakens them. How could they possibly stand up against us if we really push back against them? And besides, we cannot fight with the Galikites. It is only by the grace of their scraps that we are able to eke out an existence here. Frankly, I am very absorbed with my projects right now, and unless you can show me a proper plan of action here, I don't know that I can sign on to any of this high-minded philosophical hoople-headedness.
Well, amongst that tirade, there was absolutely a kernel of truth that I hoped that we could see eye to eye on. Yes. What, if we choose to push back, these Gainsaid would likely not stand a chance, which is why I wanted you as sort of on board. But as far as the rest of it goes, you can choose to stay inside here. But despite what you may say, I think that it would be very, very lonely
if one day you walked outside and everybody else was gone? Who would be there to witness your art? If you want to see more concrete things, then come see what we have to offer. If not, so be it. We will take up the fight instead.
Fine, I will entertain your feeble plottings, but if they're choreographed half as well as your last ballet, I imagine they'll be about as effective as taking a face-first slide down a concrete staircase.
Opera, I would like you to please make a...
Now you've done it.
I know, I've made the DM force me to roll.
That's right. A human perception check, if you would please.
Ah, that'll go well. Things I'm good at. Empathy.
Yeah. Even though, yeah, this particular person is a little bit more closer to you as far as... I would say they're not... at least visually not quite as augmented as you are, but they are more so than usual.
Perception distinct from perception?
Yes.
Ah, there it is.
Basically, this is basically an insight check is what I'm going for. Ooh. Okay.
Oh my god, he is hitting on me.
Only high point Scrabble words here. Perfect. Yes. So with and the cheer. Guess can't get all the technology to work on. Sorry, I just realized that even though the chat decided to start working, the bit cheer did not flash up like it's supposed to. Oh well. Thank you anyway. With this 19 human perception check, this critical success, you sort of glance in this demeanor here as he's sort of again grits his teeth, bites his tongue a little bit. You almost get the sense that this was not his idea to come talk to you. Perhaps that he was asked to come try and recruit you. Well, I am delighted as always by our conversations. But hope to see you out there, friend.
Well, goodbye.
Yeah, if you just close the door. Yeah, you just hear a on the other side of the door. But yeah, that is about the extent. So it seems like this movement is also taking root in the technochemian community, if not even a little bit more so, based on the fact that they are starting to perceive themselves as targets. So then let's take that with this all information for both of you here, for Patch and Opera. Let's take a peek at our therapy sessions. So I want to make clear again up front. None of us are licensed therapists, as far as I know. If that is not the case, please correct me now. It is... yes, anyone in the audience or watching this VOD, none of this is actual therapeutic advice. Please do not take it. But as a
disclaimer here.
Yes, disclaimer. Like we established when Opera got that infusion of cash last time, medtechs can do therapy at a cheaper cost than one normally does. However, there is a skill roll involved, and you could potentially fail and lose your money and the therapy benefits. Here, Opera has decided to pay the full cost just to guarantee that it works. But even though the bottom line is, yes, this therapy is guaranteed to work, but at least a little bit here. And Matthew and Angela have agreed to at least see a little bit of what maybe some of this therapy entails, maybe some of what Opera is feeling. Patch, I know obviously y'all don't always see eye to eye, based on cybertech enhancement philosophies alone, but yes. And we talked a little bit about this as well before this session here. So I will ask Patch here first. I would say it's not your usual expertise or go-to. Usually you're more of a physical doctor rather than a therapist, but it is something that you have been called upon to do from time to time. What do you think that your setup is for your therapy sessions? Is it at your usual abode? Do you like have a sort of room or office set aside for that, or what does it look like?
It's probably like her apartment is set up where it's her living quarters, which are surprisingly sparse to begin with. Like it's set up to be mobile, to move immediately if need be. And then there's the surgery room behind it. So I would think that she basically, when she's preparing for this kind of a session, she'll rearrange the furniture a bit to make it a little bit more warm-ish. Basically try and make the person feel more at home.
Yeah.
Which, for opera, she has no idea what that means.
Set up the chaise lounge? Perfect. Okay. Then I will leave it. Of course, I will be standing at the sidelines as a game master slash stage manager here. But as Opera, you come in for therapy, I will leave it up to you two to decide like how deep we want to delve here. Yes. So I feel like it makes most sense here at the beginning for Opera you to sort of kind of lead things off here. It's like what you would like to speak about.
Also, Patch, we have been friends for a significant period of time at this point, and I was hoping that you might see fit to, I don't know, I only really know how to speak in terms of schematics, but defragment my hard drive, as it were. I have no idea how this is supposed to work, but I know that the ongoing, shall we call it, disability with understanding the human side of things is becoming an impediment to my ability to continue working as part of the group. And I must say I have come to be rather fond of the three of you.
Okay. This
So
is
that
good to
being
know.
said, presumably you can just give me some kind of drug and I will be perfectly fine.
No. Why don't we start with you sitting down?
Alright, I shall adopt a normal, natural sitting position. And Opera crouches down with the sound of a 16-wheeler's shocks letting out.
You know what? Sure. Does that make you comfortable?
Very.
Okay. Let's go with that. I suppose we could start with the basics. What are you... Why are you... Why? Why? Why are you... Have you always been this way?
Well, I wasn't born looking like this. It was hard work.
I see. Would you like to elaborate on that? Because you seem very proud of your work.
Well, why wouldn't one be proud of their achievements in a chosen field of excellence?
Okay.
Are you not proud of all of the patients? For example, you just saved our dear friend Mavrek. That was extraordinary.
Well, but what I do isn't who I am, and I get the feeling it's different with you.
Well, you can't exactly replace parts of yourself with more doctor.
This is true.
So they're not comparable.
How so?
Well, in my field, there's a very tangible thing that we are working towards. You can't see on a chart that you are improving with your medicinal knowledge. You can merely attempt to analyze trends over long periods of time and with large, diverse populations, whereas I can simply see what the increased load capacity of my legs is, or what the deadlift capacity of my shoulders are. I can know precisely how far I have come towards my ultimate goal. And it
Which
is
is
simply different. What is my ultimate goal? Well, perfection. The goal of everyone, is it not?
well, what does perfection look like to you?
The ability to overcome all obstacles, the ability to inspire awe, is this ability to do or be whatever I want. Is that not what everything aspires to be? Does not every living creature furtively aspire to climb the rungs of the food chain until they sit alone atop it?
No.
Well, what's wrong with them? You should have them on this couch.
Okay, so that's what success looks like to you. Your ultimate goal is to be on top?
Well, metaphorically speaking.
Where do you go from there?
Well, obviously it is an unachievable goal.
Obviously?
Obviously.
Really?
Exactly. For example, what is the most perfect creature in the world? The most perfectly adapted to its niche? The creature without which an entire ecosystem could not survive, once the creature before which everything in its niche trembles. Obvious, no?
Let's say yes, but humor me and tell me anyway.
The shark.
Really?
Yes, it is a perfectly designed engine of destruction. It is perfect in reproducing itself, almost perfect, without change across hundreds of millions of years. And yet, that shark changed from something else. So over the grand scope of time, which I intend to see as much of as I can, even I will find reason to change my own form of perfection.
Okay. And you think this, and she's just gonna gesture to all of it, this is your way of becoming the shark?
Exactly. I do not have hundreds of millions of years to adapt. I must accelerate the process.
And what do you...
Is that so unreasonable? Everybody looks at me like I'm some kind of alien, I say with my
never
giant
said it was...
board head.
I never said it was unreasonable. But what are you willing to give up for it?
Why, everything that does not serve the purpose.
If your humanity doesn't serve a purpose, why are you here?
Well, I can't exactly continue my experiments if I am running around in the sewers underneath the Echo Center, tweaked out of my mind, splicing anything that glints in the light into my form like those other cyber psychos. No, it must be steady, measured progress towards a defined goal. And that is where you come in. You are like, you know, a crocodile. A crocodile is an extraordinary creature. Also, like the shark, unchanged for many hundreds of years. And yet, what does the crocodile need of the world around it other than food? Those little birds that pick out of its teeth. And that is what you are for me, my dear front patch.
Not the weirdest thing I've been called, ironically. Okay. So you think by coming here and just talking is going to keep you from doing everything you just said?
Well, I had hoped there would just be a pill, but as long as we're talking, it's nice to get to know you.
Oh, this is delightful. Okay. I can see where you're coming from. But the fact that you have to talk to me at all should also suggest to you that humanity itself is not something that's so easily discarded.
You may be right. That might be a unaccounted for variable in my long-term plans. I need something to balance me. The shark wasn't born in one generation, after all. Thank you, Patch. I think this has been helpful.
Anytime, I think.
Okay. So, after this first session here, so part of the cost of therapy is written is like some of like the pharmaceuticals and other things that like just especially this expensive one, the extreme humanity loss therapy is much more intense than the other one. So as Patch sort of starts with some like usual psychotherapy, starts digging at some of these we'll call them logical quirks here. I think also perhaps then some like pharmaceuticals to sort of like relax, perhaps sort of like disconnect at least a little bit from the like overwhelming feeling of being connected to all of these cyberware pieces all at once, all the time. Maybe, but yes, with a little help from the pharmaceuticals over this week, able to put a dent in some threat of cyberpsychosis and sort of start reattaching that tether of humanity. So,
in mechanical terms, my empathy went from 1 to 3.
Oh my god.
oh man,
Matthew.
I
Why
have,
do you think I was playing the character that way?
Sorry, I had forgotten. You had already rolled the 46. Now I do vaguely remember that. Yes, for the humanity loss. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So successfully doing that, so your maximum humanity still does not increase until you get rid of said cyberware, but you can regain some of the current humanity, 4d6 worth. For the extreme, which is why it's so expensive. Like, 1,000 ebs is not cheap, and thankfully, it sounds like it was needed though. So yes, going from 1 to 3, the knife's edge of cyberpsychosis to maybe a little more antisocial, but better. Okay.
More antisocial?
A more a more affable antisocial, sure. So, last thing, we will pick up next time, sort of like with some of these threads. But last thing before this all goes, before we end for the night, Pixie, you are sometime later up in the garage, still, I think, doing a little bit of cleanup. Like, there was a lot of damage here. They hit it pretty hard, so it is taking you some time to sort of get things back on track. I'd say you're able to like pull Bug into the garage now and get repairs on that. It was not stolen in the meantime. I'm not going to do that to you. We can handle repair rolls either next time or off screen. I'm not going to take the time to dig into that at this exact second since I don't recall those rules off the top of my head, and I don't want to dig through the book right now. As well, I would say during this downtime, given some access to the garage, for nomads you can upgrade your ride, and I think with the sort of amenities offered to you by free reign of this garage and some of the other salvageable material from the other destroyed vehicles, maybe we could see a little upgrade in bug from here. That I will leave to you to think about. But there is something one morning about, I would say about a week later, or a little bit more than a week. Some of these, the protests are continuing to grow in strength. There has not been any sort of like Boston Massacre or anything like that. No like really nasty thing that has happened yet. But something very much catches your eye that morning. You get a blip on your agent as the morning scream sheets, which is a term in the cyberpunk lore. It's the news, like scream sheet. It's like a little news blip that you get from time to time from the media. This, of course, is a scream sheet from one of the. Actually, this scream sheet is actually from the like official Galikite channel, which is not normally one that you pay attention to or read. But with a blip on your agent, you hear a familiar voice as partner computer.
So, morning, y'all, Pixie. Now, normally when you wouldn't bother you with this sort of thing, but I think you're gonna wanna have a look-see at this.
And as you click through to this official scream sheet, you see that there on the front page is a headline that reads, Margot family found guilty of smuggling, espionage, and sedition. And that is where we are going to end our session here. Well, I'll give you the stinger time frame here. Pixie, how do you react to that?
I don't know.
Yeah, this is like basically.
I don't know that she would have like an immediate action.
Okay. Then perfect. Yeah, the bump right before the screen goes to black and credits is just that shot of you staring at your agent, looking at this headline. You were under no impression that a trial was imminent, much less had apparently suddenly taken place.
I think just Pixie's just like the gears start turning, like she's coming up with a plan.
Perfect. And so yes, the camera fades to black as we see sort of this completely still Pixie, but on the eyes we see those gears turning. And that is where we are going to end our session. So a few threads to pull on here. It would seem as if the Gainsaid have sort of gone into the remission and to the background for now. But it is a little bit potentially worrisome what the emissaries of tomorrow are currently building towards, not to mention, of course, this business with the Margot family. And we will see how that all shakes out next time. thank you all so much for watching, both those who are in the audience as well as any VOD watchers out there. Anything to plug from our players here? Go ahead and raise hand if so. Yes, Angela.
A week from this Thursday, System Agnostic is starting its final chapter. Also, this Saturday is the Untitled Mafia Project, both of which will be on Twitch.
Fantastic. Yes, as always, keep an eye out on the Quelmar Twitch for further our other campaigns like Untitled Mafia Project and System Agnostic, which you say is getting into its finale. Wait, you said like last session, week from Thursday?
No, not last session, but final chapter.
Final chapter, excuse me. The final chapter, yes. Check out those VODs if you'd like to catch up. And if you are caught up, then keep an eye out for the final chapter. Very, very exciting. Anything else? Hands raised from Ashley or Matthew? No, nothing? Cool. Then I'm going to just round things out here with the usual attributions. If you would like to, first off, thank you to Arkenforge, as always, for being a sponsor for the Quelmar realm. You can actually check out, real quick, if you type in, I want to make sure I get the discount code correctly. So you can go to the Arkenforge site. If you do not already have a subscription, you can even get a slight discount. I want to make sure. Apologies, that's on me. I should. Yes. You can use code. I'm going to type this into the Twitch chat here. Use code the Quelmar Forge for $5 off your very own copy of Arkenforge. So there it is, there in the chat. So yes, it is a fantastic virtual tabletop tool for any sort of TTRPG, whether it's D&D, Cyberpunk, whatever you are running. It is particularly, of course it can be used virtually, but it is particularly handy for in-person play because it has built-in technology, not only for, say, you hook up your laptop to a TV, it's got built-in technology to support having a GM view and a player view. That sort of thing is built in as well. If you want to get particularly fancy, they have some mini tracking technology where you can move your minis around if you've got a appropriate screen there in front of you, and it will track the players on the map as if you were actually moving them around. That sort of view and everything. Very, very cool stuff. So yeah, check out Arkenforge, the Quelmar Forge, for that $5 off code. As always, the music and sound effects and voice mods for this stream come from, in this case, just Tabletop Audio for the music and ambiance, and VoiceMod for the, voice mods and I think possibly a sound effect or two here or there. And I feel like I am. Oh, yes. And as far as getting involved more in the Quelmar in general, of course, we are a 501c3 charity gaming organization, currently primarily based physically around the northeastern area, State College, Pennsylvania. We do have some presence in, here in the DMV, DC Metro, and so on. If you are interested in getting involved, you can join our Discord, which I have just put up there. You can also go to our main website at quelmar.world. You can find honestly, you can find all the business on quelmar.world. It has links to our wiki, Twitch, and of course, not to mention QuelmarCon. It is our very own convention coming up in June. In Maryland. It is just less than an hour outside of DC, so if you find yourself up here around the June-ish area, come check us out. We're going to be a bunch of lovely friends and nerds playing games together. That's what we're here for, growing our community. So please come join us if you can. Otherwise, or in addition to, check out that website, Quelmar.world, our Discord link, which I've put up here. You can find us at the Quelmar Realm, as you can see here at the bottom of the screen, on YouTube, Instagram, that sort of thing. I'm not in charge of the Instagram. So yeah, I can't speak entirely to that, but you can find VODs for not only this campaign, but all of most of our other campaigns on the YouTube channel as well, going back quite a ways. So plenty of content there to check out. You also, if you would like to contribute, down below there is a donate button that you can donate to us as a charitable organization as we continue to try and bring communities together via gaming, and also bring help found new communities out there through initiatives like our lending library, which we help lend out materials to people who want to run games themselves, because it can be on the more expensive side of a hobby, and we do not want financial barriers to be the only reason why you're not able to get together with friends and build those relationships. So come check us out. And those overlays as well are a combination, at least here in the stream, combination of me and Jeff Buterbaugh, one of our lovely graphic designers, part of the Quelmar Realm, and also all the stuff down below, all the buttons, that is all Jeff's work as well. Thank you, Jeff, if you're still in the chat, but even if you're not still in the chat, thank you anyway. I believe that is all of the business. Yes. So with that being said, there is only one thing left to do. And that is to say the thing that we always say as we end our streams. So all together, all at once, we know it, we love it, we always nail it 100% together every single time. Why do you ask?
Always.
3, 2, 1. Keep rolling them dice.
I did not freeze once today.
Yeah, you did not. That is mighty cause for a celebration. See you next time,
wonder,
y'all.
though, where are all of your tech glitches migrating to?
Hmm.
If anyone in the audience has a pacemaker, watch out.
Oh dear.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm gonna go.
It suddenly got very dark.
I'm gonna go look for some technical things on fire. Have a good night, everybody.